If you're a woman over 40 and you feel like you're working out, you're eating pretty healthy, and you're putting effort in, yet you're not seeing much improvement, your energy isn't all that great, and you feel like your body stopped responding to the things that used to work, this episode is for you. Most women that I come across in midlife aren't lazy or lacking discipline necessarily. They're often doing the wrong things for this phase of life. So today, I want to walk you through some of the biggest reasons that your workouts may not be working for you after 40 and what to focus on instead. So the first thing is you're probably doing too much cardio. Many women are stuck in the mindset of, I must burn more calories, do more cardio, sweat more. And while cardio can absolutely support our heart health, our mood, and even fat loss, too much cardio, especially if you are under eating, which many women are, or you're dealing with a lot of stress, can backfire in midlife. You can end up more inflamed or bloated, hungrier, exhausted, and spinning your wheels. At this stage, we really need to care less about burning calories and more about building a metabolically healthy body. That means muscle and blood sugar regulation. So that brings me to the second one. You're not building enough muscle. This is probably one of the biggest levers after 40. We naturally start losing muscle as we age. It starts in our 30s. Muscle supports your metabolism, your blood sugar, insulin sensitivity, strength, confidence, body composition, or that toned look that we all want, and of course, healthy aging. So if you want to feel strong, maintain a healthy weight more easily, you really do need to focus on building muscle. And no, that doesn't mean that you need to go lift 200 pounds at the gym, but walking with 3-pound dumbbells or a weighted vest isn't going to cut it either. We're talking progressive overload, challenging your muscles over time, getting stronger, and actually seeing your body change. All right, the third thing is you are under fueling. This one is huge. And if you're a repeat listener, you've heard me say it before, and I'm going to keep on saying it until you get it. A lot of women over 40 are trying to survive on little salads, protein bars, coffee, protein shakes, and these tiny meals, and then wondering why your cravings are high, your energy crashes, your sleep is crap, your hormones feel like they're all over the place, and your body composition doesn't improve. Your body is smart. If it feels stressed, depleted, and underfed, it's not going to prioritize the things that you want, such as fat loss. It's trying to keep you alive. Many women need more protein, more carbs, and more food overall. In my experience, it's not always less, but calories do matter. There's a lot of arguments online about this, but it really is a math problem. You need to know what your body requires on a daily basis. You may be getting enough calories, but perhaps it's coming from the wrong source, such as fat. So you never really feel satiated or see the changes that you want in your body. All right, the fourth thing is you're afraid of carbohydrates. Can we talk about the anti-carb obsession for a second? I sort of fell for it myself. I tended to follow more of a lower carb diet for most of my life, even when I became a health coach, 12, 13 years ago. But the older I get, the more that my body changes, the smarter I get, the more I realize how many women, including myself at times, underfuel, typically because of fear around carbs. Now, I'm not saying that you go eat donuts and bread all day. You know this, you're a smart person, but healthy carbs are not the enemy. Okay, things like fruit, potatoes, rice, beans, squash, sourdough bread, my favorite, fiber muffins. I make those on a weekly basis and have them with my breakfast, or even things like quality granola. These foods support your workouts, your recovery, sleep, thyroid health, and nervous system. Many women are chronically undercarbed, overstressed, and then they don't understand why their sleep, their mood, or their cravings feel horrible. And this can be louder the week or so before your period if you're still cycling. So sometimes you need to shift your intake at that point as well. The answer is rarely about more restriction. It's usually about more strategic nourishment. All right, number 5, your training is inconsistent. This is not about perfection, but consistency matters. You cannot work out really hard for 2 weeks, disappear for 3 weeks, and then restart again over and over. Your body responds to consistency in midlife. Even if you do 2 strength sessions per week, that's going to beat random bursts of motivation. Okay. This is really true in midlife. You cannot wait for motivation. And listen, I get not having that get up and go mentality when your hormones are suboptimal. I've done previous episodes on that. So go back and listen to one in particular about motivation. And this is why I love HRT, hormone replacement therapy. It's why I educate on it here and there. And I recommend women really consider it in midlife. We need sustainability. We need sustainable, realistic plans, not this all or nothing BS. You will never get the results you want if you keep falling off track and expecting perfection of yourself. There is no such thing. We're all busy. You do the best you can, but you do it consistently. All right, number 6, you're sedentary outside of your workout. One workout does not undo sitting all day. So if you're going to the gym and you're doing like this hardcore workout for 45 minutes to an hour, but then you're sitting the other 10 or so hours during the day, that matters, okay? You gotta be walking. Get up every half hour to an hour if you work a desk job. Get your steps in throughout the day. Stand up more. Park further away when you go to a store. Take the stairs versus the elevator. If you're at your kid's soccer practice or soccer game, instead of just sitting in the field, walk around the field or walk around the parking lot with some of the other moms. Get those steps in. Okay, daily movement plays a massive role in insulin sensitivity, metabolism, and just your overall health and longevity. All right, the next thing is hormones matter. We need to acknowledge the elephant in the room. Our hormones are changing over 40, whether we like it or not. Estrogen is fluctuating a lot before it eventually declines. Progesterone tanks in our 30s. Sleep changes. Moods become more unpredictable. And yes, this can affect how you build muscle, fat distribution. A lot of women get the central body fat, right? Motivation, energy, insulin sensitivity. So it's important to understand what your options are when it comes to hormone therapy. There is no need for fear. Please, there is so much evidence at this point about the safety and efficacy of it. And I really have no patience for the fear mongering online because it's doing such a disservice to the women who would really benefit from it. Okay, the next one is you're not recovering enough. More is not always better. You don't build muscle during the workout. You build it during recovery. So your sleep matters, eating enough matters, rest days matter. Take advantage of them, okay? And stress management matters as well. How many of us are so stressed doing all the things and rarely taking things off our plate? And no, feeling exhausted all the time is not a badge of honor. Being the go-to woman for everything, it's not something to be really proud of in midlife if you are feeling lousy all the time, if you're gaining weight, if you have no energy, if you're not sleeping. Please stop overloading your plate with other people's demands of your time and things that quite frankly are not priorities for you and your health. Your nervous system really does impact much more than most women realize. All right, the next thing is having unrealistic expectations and comparison. Please stop comparing yourself to women online. You do not know what they're taking. They're probably taking a lot of peptides, right? That's the new thing now. You don't know their genetics, their history, the lighting that they're using, editing, filters, procedures that they've had, personal trainers, chefs, time availability, and their financial situation. You are a busy woman in midlife. You're probably working. You're taking care of family. You're driving kids to soccer practice, games, baseball, all the things, feeling overwhelmed most days. Having realistic expectations really matters. And this is exactly why I created Midlife Body Rebuild. It is my new 6-week program. I'm very excited about this. It's unlike what I've ever created before because women over 40 do not need more extremes and they certainly do not need complexity. You don't need some detox, an unsustainable workout plan. You don't need to follow a ketogenic diet to cut carbs or fast either. You need a smarter approach for this phase of life. Inside Midlife Body Rebuild, we're going to focus on realistic nutrition, muscle building, strength and metabolism, hormones and recovery, sustainable body composition, and practical habits that fit real life. Because the goal isn't to obsess over your body and your health. The goal is to feel strong, energized, and confident in the second half of our lives. If you want to be the first to hear about it, join the waitlist in the show notes. I will see you next week. The information provided is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not, nor do I act as a doctor or any other medical professional. I am not providing healthcare, medical services, or attempting to diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure any physical, mental, or emotional disease or condition. The information shared is not intended to be a substitute for the professional medical advice provided by your own medical or mental health provider.